Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with
Tank.
and we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminati, and all those that wish to harm all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. How's it going, Tank?
Well, you know what? Things are pretty good. I did get a report today from some of the folks in the tracking the RV. Told me that transfers were being held up, and then that they were vanishing in some cases. So I ran that by Kim, and Kim basically said, yeah, things being held up, that happens. But she said that if fraudulent money is transferred, it disappears. Of course, that's what will happen. It's fraudulent. It's not real money. So she basically
back to vapor.
Yeah. So basically, they're paralyzed. They can't do anything. So that's kind of the State of the Union with both the RV and the cabal. So other than that, I'm not sure what she's actually working on behind the scenes. What else there is, except for I know the next step is that we're able to actually move money, and God, I hope that is right here because all signs, all indications are that it is completed. We've got just so much confirmation of the Kim system in full operation, working, functioning, and it would appear that everything we've said is true. that There is no other trust. There is no other secret source of funds because every time they try to access these secret funds, they disappear. So unless they're magic funds and they're all magicians, there's really no validity to them, and you can't spend them here. So that's
well, this seems the same story as always, right? Oh, the money's in the account. I've seen it. It's sitting there. We're waiting for the the locksmith to come and open up the door. Whatever. There's some reason why you can't transfer it. You can't do something. It's on hold. The paymaster has to do this. The cousin of the elders have to come and visit them.
Some of my favorite stories are the flyer. Okay, so the flyer was this guy who would be in an airplane going towards Reno, and he had to be in air to sign things over to release the Republic, right? Restore the Republic. And he was supposed to be flying and signing and doing all types of stuff in the air. And when that happened, we were about to go. Stuff like that. That's one of my favorites.
Why did he have to be in the air?
No idea. Okay. But that was a big one. There was
I didn't know that one actually. That was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that Trump has to be outside the country when it happens.
Right. That was always the one. It could only happen on Christmas and on Easter. The legends abound.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I named this episode, GCR the Big Lie for old time's sake.
Throwback, yeah, retro. Well, I mean, at this point, everybody who's convinced it's something else. I got some intercepted data. There were some trolls who were attacking Lisa for her laugh, right? So I got some screenshots of their chat room where they think that they're so clever, right? Where they were saying like, yeah, we got on that woman Lisa for her laugh. I'm like, oh, you guys are a class act. Good job, you losers. I'm like, come on, man. Like, what are you guys doing? Give me a break. Like, they tried to discredit. They tried to discredit Kim because Kim had said that. I guess according to them, I've never heard her mention this, but because I said something like, I don't know who Bubba is. They think Kim doesn't know who Bubba is. Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. There's a lot of things I don't know that Kim definitely does. So that theory's out the window. And then they said something about I don't know, just crazy stuff.
Well, I still vision this as like since we started this broadcast, right? 306 episodes ago, that we have this CIA control room with the big monitor, big screens up over there, and they get all the rows of desks with people and they're monitoring X-22 report, and then they say, oh, there's DANK live, right? Your front lines, and then they said, look what they're saying, and they said, okay, release the trolls.
Yeah, release the trolls.
Send in Bubba.
Send in the boys. Send in the boys.
So
take them down.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous, the people that are coming out, to spew this stuff, and it literally, I've seen such the most vile trolls that come out, right? And it's so stupid, right? You just delete them, right? And and now it's a matter is like if you see trolls, there must be something going on, right? Because literally, this is it's like where there's smoke, there's fire. So if there's trolls there, they're under the bridge cooking up something. It's because they want to. Yeah, they want to persuade people away from somewhere. What do they call that? The Streisand effect. Right?
I don't know if I've ever heard of that, but maybe.
Oh yeah, the Streisand effect is basically when you want to. You try to like censor something or get people not to look at something. Because you did the censorship, more people look.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know in sales, when I used to have sales training, they would talk about, the more you mention, even if you're selling against it, saying something negative about somebody's product, if you keep mentioning their product, you're still selling for them. Yeah. If they're already using it. So that's definitely been my experience. So, But I actually laugh. It's like they were attacked. They're trying to say that I'm a fraud and whatever, and I'm like, well, really? Because we're actually doing all this stuff, right? So I'm Lawful America, where we want to make sure people understand how to send out these letters. So I'll have this up. I've been working on it. I'll have it up today. But so we have the template letter for people to send out to schools and principals and stuff like that, right? That I'm going to post here about right after your show. And then also we're putting out all of the receipts so that people can track the letters that we've already sent, right? Because I'm just like, any chance we have, just be like, look, you say what you want, we're doing exactly what we said we do, right? We're doing it all the time, And Kim, the amount of credibility Kim has is unprecedented. I mean, think about it. They're trying to call Kim a fake. Well, it's like, well, okay, let's think about it. Of all the scams you're going to pull, let's think about her master scam, right? These guys are trying to say. So she says she's the most powerful financial authority in the world. So her big scam is not to ask for any money, not do anything to take any money, live an isolated life where every part of her life, every dime she touches is snatched up by the cabal, where she has to, work her ass off while being the most powerful authority on the planet, right? Just to support her daughter while she lives, up in this isolated town where she basically can't leave, right? There's 15 square miles where she lives, right? That's her big scam that she's pulling off. She's got everybody fooled. I'm like, come on. It's like nobody scams that way.
Yeah, well, it was the same thing I used to say for Swisindo. I said people would say you're scamming. You're a scammer. I said, okay, what was it the scam was? I mean, scam usually means you've taken money from someone, right? By some ruse, right? Some scheme to get money from people. Please explain what the scam was. So, that's when I started dealing with the people that would say that. I mean, it's really the first time I ever experienced the trolls, right, coming out after me, right? I mean, I've had things where people were in disagreement, right, with what I was doing in technology or something like that, and there was a debate, right? I experienced that many times, no problem, right? But the first time to come out where these people came out with these vile things just spewing forth, right? It's like, where are you from? You're in kindergarten? I mean, where you're a poopy butt. It's about that level. It's like, really, what is the cat's expressing her sovereignty. So, but so this whole thing where they come out and say things is so ridiculous. But anyway, but there are times when people come out and say things in a very sly way, right? And it really has real meaning, right? And I think that we've experienced some of that. I had this queued up, and this is from the Golden Globes from I guess a couple of days ago. And I'm going to also, let me bring this up on screen here. I thought it was removed from Twitter, but it actually is still, it is on, it is there. It was under privacy. The privacy says that now it has, controversial content or something. So I had to push another button that said view. I didn't see it there first. So. But this is I had this queued up yesterday for us to talk about, but we didn't get around to this. And but X22 covered it, and he made a very interesting point. He said that when you're giving when the left or the deep state wants to give out their side of something, right? They push it out in front of everyone through all of these means, such as the Golden Globes or all these different award systems, and they send out these messages, right, for the public to absorb. And there's 14 million people that see the Golden Globes, and he says, so the deep state does that. He said, but don't you think that the patriots also have the ability to put out messages in front of everyone? and then he basically was pointing to the Golden Globe. So we're going to go through this and listen to some of this, and we'll stop along the way. It's about 7 minutes long, and we'll kind of comment along the way on what his messages are. Okay, sure. I should share it with you too, so you get to see it.
I can hear it. It's okay.
Well, I'll share anyway. Okay, so here we go. So she said, "Thank your agent and
Your God.
your God, your God,
Whatever you got.
not God,
Right.
Your God."
Your God.
We're done here.
It's really funny.
Look, that very last shot. Watch this.
It's already 3.
Tom Hanks. What's on his mind right now? You know, he's.
Oh boy, he's like, holy.
They were so.
Yeah.
They were so. You know, this was an IUD.
IUD.
He just hit him with an IUD.
Well, I don't know what to call it, but made me happy. To actually hear somebody. Yeah, some people were. I saw people both ways got critical. I was like, you know what? Like, these guys have been attacking the president every day. You have another, major movie star come out and voice their 2 cents about how much they are mad at President Trump and how much. You know what? George Lopez on this, he actually offered he was making a joke. That the supreme commander of Iran, offered $80 million to kill President Trump. You know what? He doesn't have $80 million. But on top of that,
he does. I mean, he still has that cash that Obama gave him.
I'd say all that money's fake. You couldn't even enter back into the system anywhere.
No, but it's cash. That's why, So. Even if it's fake cash, it still will move in the system on the first level, right? When you're putting it down. Just something of note. But this thing that's going on in Iran, I think is really being played out where they've now been put on notice. I'm going back to that post from 1320, January 3rd, 2020, or basically from March of 2018, the Q post saying that Iran is finished, future proofs past, Iran loses control. Well, I think we're really talking about the deep state losing control, because this guy, this general being removed from the scene leaves such a power vacuum. The number 2 spot, plus I guess there was 4 others that were part of the team there, taken out. I mean, that's like a very big hit. Another IUD. Actually, it's a drone strike, but these guys now have lost not just their operatives, right? The main guys in charge, but what they lost was the idea that the deep state is in control.
Oh, that's right. Because, before they could pull off a hit that would start a war, right?
Right.
And they'd all be on the same page. Now, every time, something happens, you can tell they're not part of it because everybody's mad.
Right.
Like, half the people are mad at Trump and they're up in arms about one thing or another. It's like, you see, they were a united front, right? They were all one big happy cabal.
Right.
Now they're all over the place.
So this is very interesting how this has been timed. I'm just looking also at the timing of this, right? because what is Nancy Pelosi and John Kerry, it's a Jim Kerry, John Kerry, been doing right behind the scenes is they've been going to Iran, they've been calling Iran, they've been telling them you got to stick with the deal, right? You know, we got a deal. We gave you all this cash. We released the sanctions. We helped build up your nuclear. So you got to stick with the deal. We're going to get rid of Trump, right? But now what happens is they have this now power vacuum. And what does Trump do? I mean, there's no uncertain terms right now with Trump. You do anything, and we're going to take out 52 major targets, right? And this is stuff that you guys rely on culturally and strategically. So he laid it on the line. He said, listen, you guys take a step. It's over for you, right? Yeah. And I don't think Trump has to do it in one day.
I actually think that is a planned strike for the next 52 weeks that will happen no matter what they do.
Right.
Is what I think. I think what he's saying is 2020 is ours. You know, and every single week the hits are going to keep on coming. One way or another, I think that strategically between, and this, no one has told me this, you know, it's, you know, Kim is always talking about, you know, the only way to win is not to play the game, right? I thought Thomas made a good point the other day. He's like, you know, we're playing our own game of chess here. It's like, you know, there's other games, right? Like, so they think they're playing chess, but like, you know, there's 52 cards in a deck, right? And Kim never bluffs. Never. Like, as much as they think she's bluffing, they don't know what's going on, right? She always delivers, and when she does, it knocks them out. Like, so, and now Trump's obviously, like, they're working together because everything that we talked about, all of a sudden you'll see some reflection in what Trump does.
Right.
You know? And unlike, you know, people who see what Trump does and then try to interpret it, like, we've been calling these things way before they happen. Like, we've been telling you, you know, way in advance. I mean, we've talked about the Federal Reserve not having a charter, you know, for, you know, a few weeks. And now they're just starting to talk about, there was some big shift that happened at the Federal Reserve, you know, back in September. I'm like, right when we told you that they lost their charter, right? They're now finally acknowledging all these different things that, you know, are just, they're there. They're right in front of you.
Yeah.
You know? It's really amazing. It's really amazing stuff.
Yeah, yeah, this is I mean, as a plan, you love it when a plan comes together. I mean, we can start seeing is these convergence of the different storylines, even like what's going on in Hollywood right there. What we just saw there, right, was you know, revealing everything to these people what's going on. They literally just, you know, had a major, you know, this wasn't a shot across the bow. This blew up right in their faces.
Oh yeah.
Right. So so we see that this is that the people are being made aware. So the awakening is literally happening right now, and it's going to be happening faster. We're going to see these things because now people have got all the basic information is out there, right? And it's now just pieces that are just maybe it's like, well, does this piece fit? Oh yeah, that one fit there. Yeah, that one I fit together last week. This one, oh, where does this go? Where does this go? Now people are trying to put it all together, and it's just going to become more and more clear. These veils were being removed, so it gets clearer each time, and the whole system is going to be turned around. So the mullahs, right, in Iran have said what? What did they say, right, so far? They said, we're not going to honor the agreement anymore, the nuclear deal, right? But what did Trump already do? He already said,
he already pulled out, yeah.
Yeah, we're not honoring this deal. This is a bad deal. This is not. So they just agreed with Trump.
Right.
Right.
You haven't been out of the deal, right?
Yeah. So we're not going to honor this deal. You don't want to honor the deal. So they're on the same page. And We don't know what's going on in the background. We don't know whether, because Trump has been saying they want to make a deal. For how long? He said the same thing about China, and everyone said, "Oh, it's just bravado, right?" But what did China want to do? China wants to make a deal, and a deal happened. They didn't sign it yet. Did they sign the phase 1 yet? No, I don't think they didn't sign it yet. I think it's coming up, but they agreed. It's all done, right? So, but that signing is going to be coming up, a major win, right? And now it's the same thing happening with North Korea. I think North Korea, worked with Trump and got that information about where this Iranian general was. I mean, they got the intel from Kim Jong-un. Why? Because that's where they've been communicating from. Who set up the servers? Google. In North Korea, right? Where is one of their bases of how they're moving data around? They have to have safe places to do it from. And what are their safe places? Well, they've been hanging out where they've been saying these are the major, evils of the world, right? North Korea, Iran, right? And Iraq. What was the axis of evil that Bush called it? North Korea, Iran, and Iraq.
North Korea, Iran. Is that Iraq? Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. So, but Iraq, what did Trump say about Iraq, right? They said, you try and kick us out, we're calling in our debt. You got to pay us. Pay up.
Wow, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because why is now the word coming through the mainstream media? Look at what they're saying. They say, oh, they want us to leave. The government of Iraq wants us to leave. Really? Or it's the deep state wants?
Yeah, definitely the deep state. Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't have any control anymore, right? They're losing control, so they want to hold on to their power bases: North Korea, Iran, and Iraq.
And that's one thing is the whole country gets a bad rap, but I mean, Iran isn't a bad thing. Iran and Iranian people are. It's that the deep state has too much control there, right? And you're right, and you're absolutely right. When you have John Kerry going back and forth with Iran, right? All these deep state members, right? They're all buddy, making arrangements. They're all guilty. I mean, it's horrendous that that's going on. Why are they allowed back into the country? I guarantee you, when they go, somebody knows. Somebody's following them. And I think that's part of what, the other day when you were talking about, Q said something about this too. Said something like, we have eyes everywhere. We see every piece of electronic, anything with a digital print, right? Anything with a heartbeat, right? So something not that, but something like that, right? Which is exactly what the quantum system does. It maps everything, right? So it's these are all things that are behind the scenes that nobody wanted to talk about, right? Because nobody wanted to admit they're real. But there is absolutely no question in my mind that the quantum system, or the Q is a result of the quantum system anticipating what it would take, what information you have to put out to wake people up, and what would be a fashion that would make them feel part of it. And it worked brilliantly. And you know what? While they were trying to dismiss it as some hack inside of Trump's cabinet, meanwhile, it's the mastermind of the quantum system analyzing all possibilities, all probabilities, forward and back, reaching through time and space to predict and analyze everything, and then beat them at their own game, right? And then letting everybody else know, right, what's going on, and having just enough influence with actual people inside to completely root out the deep state. Yeah. Makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah,
it's amazing what's really happened.
I pulled up some Q proofs that are on qmap.pub. It's interesting to look at these. So it's like this one. Can you see?
Let me see. I see. Now for my next ad?
Yeah. See it?
Yes.
He'll make the Democrats defend Iran. I put it on the screen.
Exactly what he's done. Yeah. Hilarious.
Now this is about Qasem's reach, right? This really talks about more the what's been going on with him, right? So Iraq, he backed the Shiite prime minister Nouri al-Maliki and treated Iraq as a satellite state. Now that the Sunni army ISIS has the north, taken over the north. So ISIS took over the north. So Iran, the United States are now talking about working together, but only because Iran doesn't want to lose that control. Interesting. All right. In Syria, Iran is the biggest supporter of Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad. First, because they oppose the Sunni rebels who want to overthrow him, and secondly, because Assad's support for Hezbollah in Lebanon. So Soleimani has spearheaded the efforts to keep him in power. All right. In Lebanon in the 80s, he helped organize the Shiite militia to eventually take over Lebanon as Hezbollah. He uses the group as proxy fighters against Israel. And then in Palestine territories, through Iran mostly backed Shiites, Soleimani also gives money to Sunni groups if he can stir up problems for Israel and the United States. He directs money to the Hamas to such ends. And then in Libya, Shermani's Quds force, I don't know how you say that, Quds force, provided money and support to Ansar al-Sharia terrorist group for the attack on Benghazi consulate and the killing of American ambassador Christopher Stephens. And then the United States, Sharia rarely goes after U.S. directly, but he has orchestrated some brazen plots on our soil. In 2011, the Justice Department alleges his agents tried to hire Mexican thug cartels to blow up the Saudi ambassador in Washington, part of a long battle between Iran and Saudi Arabia. All right, so this guy, not good news.
Yeah. Confirmed, right?
Right, and here's another one. Let's say, are you going to send a pallet of cash like Obama did? Right. Yeah, wait at the airport. So that's where they took him out, right? They took him out with this drone strike at the airport.
So funny. All this stuff is just such. Can't really believe it's real.
Yeah, this is funny. Iran claims they have a sleeper cell in the United States, right? And so you have like all of these people, which are the faces of all of our favorite characters, right?
Right.
And here's this meme basically proving the 1320, the future-proofs past. Some of the points was Trump said, on January 2nd, until January 3rd, 2020, that Iran never won a war but never lost a negotiation. When I first read that, he said never lost a negotiation. That's saying that they're in negotiations, right? And what does Trump want to do? He wants a win-win scenario, right? That's the best outcome. So it was at 7:44 a.m. compared to this 7:44 p.m., right? And the post number. So this is just going back and showing how much it's matched. And then Trump also did this flag not too long ago, and says this flag has appeared in these different Q posts along the way. So they're like milestones. I look at them as. So anyway, that's.
You could really analyze that stuff for a long time. It is fascinating. I have to say. I don't know. I never got into the Q stuff enough to, really, be like I never got into the autists and understanding the comms and stuff. But I've heard enough of them that as soon as I heard the first comment, I was like, oh, this is all coding, like CIA coding.
Yeah.
Like I've heard it before. You know, I'm like, I'm not trying to get into that kind of stuff because it's just too convoluted, right? But I've heard it before. You know, I've heard enough coding from different groups to recognize it. And so I thought for a while, I just thought it was going to be. I thought it was like, you know, like this sounds like, you know, psyops. But over time, you know, I realized, like, oh no, it's not, is it?
Yeah.
It's more than that, isn't it?
Oh, it's Flynn that really sealed it for me. Right? It's because he said that we have a digital army.
Yes, he did.
Right.
Yes, he did.
And this is what really made the most sense, is because the only way for them to really, you know, gut the mainstream media would be for them to have a replacement. And where is it going to come from? It comes from the people. People are entrepreneurial. I mean, you know, we can take this broadcast, right, and keep building and building. You know, build on Speak projects, Speak walkers, keep building and building, and eventually we end up with a network, right? And this is competition to what's out there as mainstream media. Now, what happens when the Iranian leader is removed? I mean, the Iranian general is removed. There's a power vacuum, right?
Right.
And so everything starts filling in, right? And so what's going to happen when the mainstream media, you know, is removed? There's a vacuum, and it will be filled by who's already doing the work.
No, that's very true. That's very true.
You got something else going on there, Tank?
No, I was just listening carefully and you know, saying hello with my hands to my friend here at the store.
Okay. Okay. I just said, yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on there, but but yeah, we're good. I think we're in this where we're going to see this happen, because, you know, it was that David Wilcock's comment, you know, that he said that 75% of these 140,000 sealed indictments are media, are the press. So, I mean, and that is probably one of the major forces that needs to be removed, right? Because that is their main control system. That's why I don't think that I think that the marching orders come from the press, right? From the early morning talking points to the press, and then the politicians pick up on what is said by the press, and they know which direction to go. I don't think it's coming from the Congress and the press reports it. I think it's completely the other way.
Sure. They're making the news versus reporting it, right?
Yeah, well,
it's like it's one thing you're not supposed to do.
Of course, yeah, they do exactly what they're not supposed to be doing.
Right. Well, you know what? I am fascinated by all this. You know, just watching it kind of connect and unfold. And, you know, it's really historical, and I definitely want to be part of documenting the story, because I feel like you know, imagine what history is like now. When people talk about history, it's kind of basic. Can you imagine trying to describe what's happening right now? I mean, it is like so incredible to understand the tactics that are taking place right now. You know, and I mean, it just seems like when you realize, like, no, this battle's already won. This is already done. Anybody fighting back right now, it's like they are holding on by a string to the little shred of anything they have. I mean, so, you know, they're trying to create a case for. But they're still trying. In their mind, they must be trying to convince themselves and others. No, we're still going to win. This is how it's supposed to go. But like, it's like, imagine if every transfer they're sending out, because this is how they've kept the banking system alive forever, is one bank, you know, would transfer, you know, a huge amount of money to another bank, and then they would record it on their books, and they would transfer back, right? They were kiting. So, kiting on a massive scale, right?
Right. Well, it's even automated, right? Because and they're taking these funds that they've already had previously used previous QSIP numbers, right, to create this cash, right? They use this old stuff. So in essence, they're counterfeiting, right? They're kiting, but they move it into the system, and they move it quickly from account to 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 account, and around in circles, right? And they keep making these big circles of this cash around and around and around, and inflating and inflating and inflating. And that's why they got to keep moving it around. But eventually, they're going to run out of electrons to push, through the electronic system, right? They won't be able to move fast enough to inflate it anymore. There'll be actually a physical barrier to them maintaining this structure.
Yeah, I mean, and right now, let's say that's right now, because they've been hanging out by a string in all the ways that they were able to do stuff. Can we shut it all down? The Kim system is running everything to stop them. So I'm not even sure what the holdup is, to be honest. Because I'm kind of like, well, what can they do? It's like, well, I guess they still have guns, right? They still have weapons. They still have control of, they still have underground, UN camps and stuff like that, I guess. It must be out there, which I think a lot of that's been blown up too. But their infiltration of everything has been so all-encompassing, right? Like nanites in our cells and plants, and and they respond to satellites. But you know what? The system has control of the satellites. It has control of the frequencies. It has control of the banking system, of the military system, the intelligence system. I would say the fact that my numbers are growing and your numbers are growing, like we've been stuck at like 4,500 on YouTube for like a year. Right. All of a sudden, like we added almost 2,000 members in like a week. Yep. Right? It's like, what are the chances, right? I think that the ways that they used to break us, or they thought they could break us, they're all removed.
Well, right now I'm looking at our online viewers right now. It says 110. Right? Now, that had dropped after December 10th. I noticed it had dropped down into the 40 to 50 people watching us every day. Well, now, in like the previous month, it was around 140 people for the last year, right? I mean, for the last, 8 months, 9 months, something like that. It was kind of like stuck there, right? Because when we were doing this originally, we were getting like 400, 500, 600 people on live, right? And now it had dropped back to this number. Now it's gone back up again. So what's different? So, and like 5 people are popping up as part of the channel. Maybe I can go there. I'll go there and show it. And remember I showed that software that I was running, right? And it would show what that sine wave pattern was, and then it dropped to 0, right? Because I started mentioning that we have the software running, and now we've got the sine wave back now. It had dropped right here. Let me share the screen. Let me show the people. Well, they can see it though. Bigger screen. So this is showing that it's being that this is an algorithm, right? When you have a repeated pattern, that's an algorithm. If I go to another channel, let me just pick one here from my old channel. Let me go to RT America. So they are at 300 every day gained, right? That's where they're at. Mm-hmm. 300 a day. 320, 320. So it's flat. So that can be right. That's but they can also be clipped, right? It's another kind of a pattern. And we go to let's go. Try to find one that's more. I trade Blaze TV. So that is a pattern, right? So this is not an algorithm, right? This is, they're going up, 1,000 this day, 3,000 this day, back down to 2,000, 4,000, 500, 1,000, 1,000, go 2,000. So they're jumping up and down with their subscribers, right?
Yeah.
But that's how many they're gaining, right? They're not losing subscribers. They're gaining every day. Which everyone should, if you're doing something, you should be gaining every day. At least, something.
Yeah.
Here.
I mean, that's why, you should be hitting somebody, So, at this point, though, I guess things can just catch fire. I've never been overly concerned about numbers, but I just look at anything that's an indicator.
Well, here, look.
Is the message getting out?
This is where you're at. Look, this is Speak Project. 6,200 subscribers, right? So here's, look. It's like you pick up 2, 3, 7, 3, right? Then we're hitting December 31st. You have like 30, 20, and 30. Now look here. There's 290, 280, 200. So, and then we're into, that. But this is, looks like something was removed from the channel, right? But anyway, it's just interesting, that you can,
That's really interesting, yeah.
That's TubeBuddy, and I know that when I brought up TubeBuddy and talked about it on the air, like a couple times in a row, then it just went flat, like you got no information, like it was prevented from providing the information, right? So then I talked about it, and now it's back up. So it's almost very reactive. So they don't know what to do. It seems like to me, they're being exposed, and they go, "Oh no, we're exposed again. Oh no, they caught us. Change it." It's obviously what's going on here.
I think about who runs YouTube, right? Let's just say it's really just guys who keep up with a great platform or whatever, right? And this is what I would think. Now, of all the platforms, of all these shows and all the different channels you got out there, you've got quite a few of them, right? That are you've got a lot of things like pedophile channels and just violence and all types of horrible programming, right? And then you got some some really great programs, right, that are being messed with. But you know what? I think about between you and mine, Thomas's, like Speak Project, THI, Where We Go, When We Go All, Front Lines, right? It's you have basically three channels that are consistently telling you this is what's really happening, giving you intel that you really can't, that nobody's really talking about, because most people, what they call intel is the information that they're getting from the mainstream and they're interpreting it, right? So that's not really intel, right? So anybody who's ever really dealt with intel knows that, right? You're just interpreting. And sometimes what will happen is you'll look at public events and you'll say, well, that confirms the intel that I had, right? But most of the intel is controlled opposition. Now, this is a term that keeps getting thrown around, right? People keep saying controlled opposition. Now, in a lot of cases, controlled opposition it doesn't actually mean those individuals are evil necessarily, okay? What it often means is that whoever's giving them intel, right, their main source, and usually, if they're controlled, they're giving you intel from one source that's awesome. It seems like they know everything, right? When you have that one source, it seems like they know everything, you're definitely controlled, right?
Right.
So, and I remember I got this tip from General Dunford because I was putting out intel, and I would get intel from 9 different sources, right, or more, 20 sources, depending on the day, right? I get all this intel, and I would take the intel that I liked and I'd put it out. And General Dunford sent me a tip. He said, put out all the intel, no matter what they say. He said, especially the intel where they say, don't tell anybody, right? He told me that, and I was like, okay. I'm like, really? I feel like I'm going to burn my sources, so don't worry about it. I started putting out both sides of the intel from everything. And then I started calling it out. Well, wait a minute. It's the same guy saying this on this side. They're putting out both sides of this busted story, right? I started getting intel from everywhere because they were all being fed lies. And they were all trying to siphon through it. And he was right. So we got twice as much information. We got more stuff out. And eventually, it kind of got us back to Kim. Like we made enough noise that I guess it got our attention.
You know what?
So,
yeah, it is true, right? We're putting out information. I mean, I'm doing a lot of interpretation, like when we're going over this Global Globe awards, right? We're interpreting what we're seeing, right? And that's good. We need to express, this as communication in a way so people can think about it. I don't know how much of really what's in the minds of Tom Hanks, right? I really don't know, but I am projecting what I think he's saying, thinking about, and how much they're in trouble. Now, considering everything else that's been going on, I love Tom Hanks movies, but but do I don't know if I want to see a Tom Hanks movie anymore, even from before, right? Any of the old stuff, old things, right? But because I don't want to support that if that's how he got to his position, right? That's how he maintains his position. I don't know. Maybe this is all wrong, but there is something about it that is going on, and the intel that we get from like I've got sources in England right now, right, about what's going on, or sources in America that are saying certain things to me, and so I try to relay them as best as possible, right? Put out that information. I don't want to say things I shouldn't be saying, but at the same time, it seems like we really need to know that there is where else are we going to find out that the Kim system is in place? All right.
Yep. I mean, the intel. I mean, like I used to get like pretty legit military intel, right? And I mean, I would get like guys on the ground, like as things were happening. Like I mean, I knew when like guys got killed. Like I knew when people were got assassinated almost instantly, right? And that's part of the reason why Kim reached out to me, because my intel matched her intel, right? And
no.
So, but what's amazing is that is how easily people can be manipulated, and the greater like Hitler talked about this, right? Like if you want people to believe you, the greater, most unbelievable lie is what people will never question, right? So we come out and we're like conservatively, I've been sharing things about Kim, and to be honest, and there's still incredible things that we share about Kim, and to be honest, I'm underselling her significantly, because if you really understood, if people could really understand who Kim is and what she has the ability to do, it would blow people's minds. It wouldn't even be like, I just don't think they could. I don't understand how people can wrap their mind around it.
Most people can't deal with a red pill, so you have to give them a small pink pill to start off with. So I brought up on the screen another Q-proof. I just was stumbled upon it when I was scrolling down through the memes they have there. This is pretty fascinating. This is Q3756. It's like, how did Q know about something big, Soleimani, that general, the Iranian general, in 52, 7 days before it happened? And the number 52, because remember, it's 52 targets that Trump has, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's going back in these Q proofs, and so 7 days prior, so December 27th, right? And the number 52 was in the picture image, right? And then something big is coming, right? And then in this from Political News, they're saying something big is coming very soon. Right, and Trump is saying at 5:52 p.m. right, and he's targeted 52 Iranians. You know, the 52 Iranian sites rather, and 52 American hostages, and 5:52 again is the time frame for this stamp, and another one at 5:52. So, you know, again, Q gave us the heads up with this picture. We didn't know what it meant, right? Why this picture of like the coming outside? I think it coming out of Marine One, that helicopter that Trump flies in. I think it looks like that's the shot, right? But it's, you know, again, it's this kind of intel is coming to us ahead of time, right? To give us a heads up and say, hey, you know, this is what to look out for. So we're getting this information and say, hey, you know, something big is about to happen, and Soleimani was something tremendously large. I mean, this is you know, as big as Trump meeting Kim Jong-un and crossing the DMZ. I mean, that moment was pivotal. I mean, the press played it down and you know, and all that, but it was something monumentous. It really, I mean, if you look, you know, 100 years from now, you're gonna look back and like, what did Trump do? How did this all change? They're gonna pick out these events, like him crossing the DMZ, right? And change the direction of the world with that. And same thing with removing this general, right? That's gonna like take Iran off of the axis of evil track.
Yep.
So,
well, you know, it's what's interesting. Kim told me this a long time ago. She was talking about how she said, "Well, money, it's just energy, right?" She goes, "So, you know, you have certain points on the planet where you have basically access points and portals of energy that flow." So they have set up these. You know, they're money centers on these different ley lines and on these different, you know, places where money flows. But it's just energy, right? It's all about the energy. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I know that like in Iraq is like one of their, you know, portals, right? It's like a big thing. Then you have another one down in Syria, right? Or in that area, you know, Syria, you know, Israel. And that there's like one there. And there's like, you know, we know that there's like 5 original portals that you have of these that connect to the 5 original tribes. Then you have these 3 other portals that were like dark, right? That they were trying to bring in all this dark energy and close down the other 5. And I think the other 5 have been closed, but now those are all open, I believe. You know, and I believe that trade is set to start up here in the next 4 months, you know, intergalactic trade, right? And that basically, you know, anybody on that level, which has got to be a very limited, you know, subgroup of people, right, who actually understand that that's a real thing, and to realize that, you know, we're about to be thrust into that. At least some portion of, you know, our planet is going to be trading, you know, one of these 39 different galactic groups that are here. And you know, and I think about this because it's like, so we all are dwelling on the surface, right? It's like at some point, I really hope that we're included in all that, right? You know, like I know we're supposed to be focused on just kind of ourselves, right? Just really getting to know ourselves. But it's like, you know, we share a planet with all these other groups, you know, let alone other countries, right? And we waste all this time fighting with each other about things that don't matter. I mean, you saw the Supreme Commander, I don't even know if this is real actually, but the Supreme Commander like found out that the general died. You know, it looked like he was, you know, throwing a temper tantrum like a little kid. Mm-hmm. You know, he just lost his mind. And they were chanting "Death to America" in their parliament, you know. And, you know,
they burn a flag. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It's like all this. It's like, why? Like, why do you want death to America? Well, now, and I can kind of see it, right? Well, if they were fighting,
well, I mean,
the cabal, the deep state.
Yeah, I think that's the reality is, right? Is that they basically harness that, right? But again, it's their same old tactic: blame the others for what you're doing. So blame the patriots for being the great Satan when you're actually the great Satan.
So this is the tragedy. Now, I was saying all that to talk about YouTube, right? Because YouTube has kind of become this portal, like where energy comes in, right, to the the internet, so to speak, where we all kind of tune in and we all agree, like this is where the most bandwidth is, right? And it's a great platform if it just wasn't corrupted, right? It's a great idea that you let people actually have a platform to speak and tell the truth. So when I own it and I take it from these guys because they abused it, which I'm going to find a way to do that, I'm going to make sure it's just that. That people always have a voice, because they should. People should have, there should never be a case where you have, just because someone has money and they have a platform, that they're able to suppress the truth, and able to lie about people and destroy their lives. Because that is what's happened.
Right.
The entire collective consciousness of the planet has been controlled by messages going out on, them telling their version of the vision, right? They're telling us what to see, what to look at, controlling us.
Right.
I was reading this article about kids, and they were saying how with the kids, they're so overstimulated by television, video games, right? It's so exciting, it's so nonstop engaging that they're struggling with basic skills in school because they go to school and school's boring.
Yeah.
It's redundant, right? Now, the answer isn't make school more exciting. The answer is get your kids away from being constantly overstimulated. Let them think. And just let them sit and think.
I think we can do both.
I do too. I'm just saying, nothing's one answer.
I looked into this a long time ago, right, in the educational side of things. I saw the potential of the big classroom the internet provided, right, where you could literally teach remotely. And I said, well, you know what? You can get the best teachers to teach a subject, right? The ones that are most engaging, the one that has the best results in transferring information from them to the people, to their students, that they would actually rise, right? And that would allow for other in communication, right? Certain teachers can communicate better to certain students. Other students won't hear anything they have to say. There's visual learners, and there's auditory learning. So it's going to depend on where it fits. But if you want to learn something, you should be learning from the best at all times.
I agree. The Constitution actually says that the parents are responsible for the education of their kids. Mm-hmm. So our whole system was really designed around parents being the primary educators, right? And then they took that away from us, right? So that now they're trying to, de Blasio and Cuomo. Okay. So, kids they have to be in school at age 3. And I'm thinking to myself, I've always, for the longest time had some kind of career where I could set my own schedule, so does the mother of my kids, right? And I think about this, and it's like, so we've just always been able to be engaged in their life, right? I cannot imagine somebody else raising my kids when they were 3.
Oh, sure.
I can't even imagine. I didn't even want anyone else babysitting. I mean, they're magic at that age, right? It's like, I think about what they're really taking from us. I mean, this sea hag chick who I don't even know who it is. Whoever this woman is who got up and was boasting about how she didn't get her abortion, she wouldn't be getting an award now, right? Huh? And I'm like, good for you. You have a trophy now, and you gave up a life. Good job. And you're bragging about it. You got to be ashamed of yourself. Like, is it worth it? Come on. I mean, whatever. I'm not condemning her for I don't know what the circumstances were, but I'm just saying, but to say that in public, you like you're saying something important because they're aborting 40-week, 40-week term kids. It's like, what's wrong with people?
Right.
Why don't we give these people a platform to speak like that? It's like, how can they suppress simple, truthful messages, simple things that are paramount for your survival, but they get to continually promote the same garbage? I just feel like everyone I think that the growing community feels more and more like we do. Like it's disgusting.
Well,
Like, we're not gonna put up with it anymore.
I think most people realize, once they buy the hype maybe for a while, but once they experience it for themselves, they tend to either double down, right, because they don't want to admit that they were wrong about something, right, or they really realize that they made a mistake and then they have to deal with it, right, and I think that's really part of the tragedy is that the society is backing up a bad decision, right, as the choice,
right? Yeah, that is that's a perfect way to say it. Yeah. Is that it's become the cultural norm to be
Hello. Oh, we stepped on something we shouldn't be talking about, huh? There we go again. Hello, Tank. Hello, Tank. I think we lost him. Yeah, well, yes, the cultural norm, right? The thing that everyone relies on, right, for the thing. I always related this not to the choice, right, to abort or not, but I always had this conversation that I was talking with people about that in regards to it's more about divorce. That I would say in my first marriage, for I was married 18 years. In the first 8 years, everyone thought we were newlyweds. But in the previous, 2 years prior, there was a lot of divorced couples around my marriage. And the conversation that ensued from the divorced women. Now, there's conversations divorced men have. We can get into that. But the divorced women were all this idea that you don't need a man. Right? Well, I need a woman. Right? I mean, it's like we need each other. Right? And it's part of the design. Right? But they're surrounded, by these concepts. And what is he having you do, right? And this is like, things that would be traditionally like taking care of the children. But that is somehow now a bad thing, and that I'm the one, responsible in this, right? So that's what I experienced from my. I said, what's going on? Why are you acting this way now? And it always came back to conversations she was having with these now divorced women. And so it was like an infection, right? But the more divorce that there was, the more it was socially acceptable to blame the other party as being the responsible for your misery. And firstly telling you that you are upset. That was another thing. You are upset about things. And we were happy. I don't know if Tank is going to be coming on, but I'll finish this up. I don't know if Tank will come back on, but so this concept was put out there to allow for divorce. I remember growing up, my mother and father got divorced, and I knew that it was very controversial. I think it was it started when I was 11, 12 years old, because it just wasn't something that was done. And but I also saw that when I married someone who was from India, a culture where it was illegal, you couldn't get divorced. It was actually something that was forbidden. Right? To understand that mindset is really the better mindset. Now I can say that if you don't have children yet. And I'm not talking about situations where there was some kind of coercion to make it happen, right? It was a bad contract thing. But in general, if you started a family, because that's the reason for creating a marriage. Right? There is no other reason that should be legitimate, right? In today's world, there's many reasons to do it. Tax reasons, right? Really crazy reason for there to be a reason for getting married, right? So this is part of the control systems are set up. But to have this reason of any reason that you can get divorced, right, is also part of the problem. But to have in the previous generations, it is something that is just not done, right? It's for the family. You stick together. And really, to give you one of the notions that I came up, especially dealing with the guys that I knew that got divorced, right? And what I noticed that was going on with them, right? And it seemed to be that it wasn't their decision. They didn't want to get the divorce. It was their wives that all decided to get divorced. And they were all upset about that, right? Because, guys are trying to fix problems. They're trying to fix it. But it seemed like it was a leaking boat, right? And their wives were putting more holes in the bottom of the boat, finding reasons why not to stay together, regardless of the number of children involved. Okay. So, listen, not all guys are the best husbands, and not all wives are the best wives. Or women are the best wives. But once you have the ability to get a divorce, you start making your list of reasons why you can. And when your list gets long enough, you get divorced. If it's not an option, why make a list? You create a solution to whatever your current issue is, right, that you would put on a list. No, you come up with a solution to live in harmony. So, anyway, I guess Tank is not coming back on. I think we've covered quite a bit today. I'd like to thank you all. We're into a new year. I appreciate everyone for everything that everyone has done, especially those who have come and registered and logged in, became members of the site, and those that contribute, thank you very much. On the Kringle Gold, I'll give an update for that. We are really knocking at the door of testing, maybe today. I'm waiting to hear. We just have got to migrate servers and that kind of stuff, but we're talking just maybe a couple of days before we basically turn it loose. So I'm happy about that. A lot of work went into building it thus far, and there's a lot more to do there. But creating a new economy is what that's all about, based upon an asset. Now, we are using cryptocurrency as a tool to achieve this, but we are getting gold. We're acquiring gold for every coin that goes out there. So this is basically an ecosystem, a private contract association. It's a member-based system that is not part of that system. So we're building it over here, and we want abundance programs to generate a lot of coin for everybody. So that's the idea. But anyway, if you'd like to get involved with that, please go ahead and you can go to kringlegold.com and just register, or you can get a hold of me on Telegram. That's the preferred way. There's an email address down below. You can do that, but don't expect an immediate answer. I sometimes don't see it for 3 days, 5 days, a week. Sometimes a couple weeks go by and say, oh, I haven't looked at my email. So I will get there. Well, on that note, I will see you tomorrow.